What is up, comic book fans? We are back with another review. This time, Batman the White Knight. But before we get into that, I'd really appreciate if you subscribe if you like the video, give it a like, and check out my TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, got it all. TikTok, there will be shorter length reviews and smaller segments of just kind of things I think about and that involve nerdy things. So thanks for checking that out. Let's get on with the review. So, Batman White Knight. This is just one my friends let me borrow. Shout out to my friend for letting me borrow it. Thank you. So, of course, this is one that has been talked about and whatnot, but this is the first time I've read it. It's from 2019, which I think is kind of funny because it deals with some important topics that I feel like are fleshed out later in the political year, the real world. But nonetheless, when you first open it, I was kind of I wasn't too excited because I thought it's just gonna be some basic sort of edgy kind of hardcore oh, Batman sucks, so we're gonna talk about why he's bad. And it does do that a little bit. It does kind of take the Batman bad thing and kind of run with it, but it does it in a respectful way, because I do find on Twitter and social media it can be kind of exhausting, at least for me, because it's Batman's the real bad guy because he beats up the mentally ill, and that's kind of a reductive take, and it's annoying, and it's played out in my opinion. So I was not looking forward to reading the book, because at least the first chapter, the first issue, I'm kind of it's not looking too good. But again, it's not just a meme. It does kind of play with the idea, and it has a respect for the source material of Batman as a character, and it gets to the heart of why he's Batman, why he does what he does, and it has a character arc for him. So it's not just all echo chamber of stupid, reductive talking heads. But without giving away too much, the main plot is, of course, Batman he seems, at least in this universe, it's a whole different universe obviously, seems to be a bit more jaded and just cynical and angry, and he's chasing the Joker like always, and it plays off kind of like a typical, sorry about any background noise, I live in a college dorm, so anyway, it plays off like a typical Batman story. He's chasing the Joker, and Joker's like, we belong together, Batman, we're one and the same, we're two peas in a pod, and Batman's not having any of it, and he's like, oh, I'm Batman, I'm gonna kill you, Joker, I'm gonna beat the tar out of you, because I'm Batman. And he does all that, he's Batman, so he's gotta do what he's gotta do. And I do kind of appreciate, because there are small key moments where he's he's chasing the Joker, and he's just tearing through people, he's pushing people out of the way, he's got the Batmobile, he's running down construction workers and stuff, and you're like, whoa, what's the Batman's deal? So again, it does kind of play like a typical Batman story, but with a bit more edge, and you can tell something's off, because he is chasing them with Batgirl and Nightwing, and it is kind of Nightwing and Batgirl are his angels, his conscience, if you will, and they're like, whoa, Batman, what are you doing? Bruce, calm down, what are you doing? There are people here, you can't just run people over. And he's like, I'm chasing the Joker, I'm Batman, I gotta kill the Joker. And something seems off, and then he catches the Joker, and he obviously he's just wailing on him like he does because he's Batman. He's like, oh, Joker sucks. And that's, it's Batman. And then Joker also has these pills. And then kind of the main climax, the main point where whoa, Batman needs to calm down. Joker's egging him on, I'm gonna take these pills or whatever. And Batman's like, take them, then. And he forces the pills down his throat, and he makes him swallow the pills. And you're like, whoa, Batman's definitely gone off the deep end. This is pretty crazy. And again, that's where I kind of thought it was like an edgelord sort of thing, like it's just edgy sort of like, oh, look at me, I'm a crazy writer, I'm gonna make Batman cool and angry. Which again, I think is reductive, but that's beside the point. So again, you're like, whoa, this is pretty crazy. And that's where our first issue ends. Joker takes some pills, and you're like, whoa, it's crazy. But they turn him into Jack Napier. And of course, as the title suggests, Batman is the Dark Knight and Jack Napier is the White Knight. So there's that, which I think is a kind of a funny like play on words, because you just take like one small change in a sentence or a title, and you just make that the whole premise of the story. I just think it's kind of neat. A little side note, but I just think it's kind of a neat idea, playing with words, and you're like, oh, I can take this one word, replace it with a different, and make a whole new idea. So, yeah. Of course, Joker, he takes the pills, and then he becomes White Knight, and he's like, whoa, Gotham City's corrupt. Okay, Batman beats the crap out of me all the time. He doesn't work inside the boundaries of the Gotham City Police Department. They just turn a blind eye to him, and he causes all this destruction, and nobody is there to stop him. He's off the chain, off the hook. He's too powerful. We need to reel him in. And then that is the main plot of the story, more or less, is taking down Batman. But of course, who is the Joker without his Harley Quinn? So that is another point I also like with the story, is that it plays with the relationships of Batman and Joker, and Joker and Harley Quinn, Batman and Harley Quinn to some extent, not as much of course, but there's that in there. And it really does kind of shake up some continuity stuff with Robin, which I liked, thought was interesting. So, yeah. Again, I don't want to give away too much, but it does play into relationships with Harley Quinn and Joker, and that I really liked. You kind of see them have a more typical non-abusive relationship, which is good. So that's always nice. It doesn't do as much with the other Rogues Gallery, of course. They are in there for fun, but they're not the main crux of the story. But overall, yeah, that's the main plot. We have Batman is bad, Joker's kind of taking him down, and we kind of learn some history of the underbelly of the Mr. Freeze, Gotham, the Waynes. We kind of learn more about everything, all from a different sort of lens in a different universe of Gotham, which I just think is pretty neat. And this is also one of the more, pretty sure it's a famous comic book panel where it has all the Batmobiles from the movies and shows in the Batcave, which I thought was a neat little touch. I do think it's kind of funny because I remember Comic Tropes talking about one of Kevin Smith's Batman books, and he mentioned that as kind of a complaint because I believe it was Walt, Kevin's friend maybe, that drew the 1989 Batmobile, and he had a bit of contention with that. I'm not trying to call him out or anything. I just think it's an interesting point of debate or a topic of discussion, because it's that was one thing I noticed when I was reading the first issue, is what universe does this take place in? Because it plays kind of I said, a regular Batman story, but it also has Jack Napier, which is the name from the 1989 Batman movie. It has all the other Batmobiles, so you're But I think it's kind of a neat little touch because, I think arguably Batman could have as many Batmobiles as he wants, right? It's Batman, so he's got to, if he wants to buy a tumbler in this issue, whatever. If he has the one from the show, the 60s show, sure, whatever. I think it's arguable that he would have an array of Batmobiles for different circumstances or different situations or whatever. So, that works. But yeah, I just thought that was a fun point of conversation. What universe does this play could take place in? But yeah, overall, I thought the art was pretty good. If I had some complaints, it would be maybe, at least on the art side, I wasn't sometimes I feel the faces were too similar between Batman and Joker, which I guess if I think about it, could also be another point of topic of discussion, because you can be they're one and the same coin, you know, that sort of thing. So I guess maybe that was an artistic choice on his part to make them more similar. But I thought that was kind of confusing for me for some scenes because he draws them from like far away, and I'm like, I don't know who this is. There were also some panel layouts that kind of confused me personally. And also, maybe my final complaint would be like, in one of the issues, Joker mentions that he's been doing this for a year, and I don't feel like, unless I missed something, I don't feel like the time was well presented throughout the issue, the comic, in my opinion. I don't know if I missed something, I could have, but I don't feel like that was well presented. Like, I was thinking this was like, because again, it starts off kind of slow and it builds with the Joker. And then I guess he does run for councilman, so I guess that probably takes a while, so that makes sense. But still, I don't know if that was well conveyed. Maybe that's just a me thing. But overall, this is a pretty good book. It's not just edgy, sort of like, look at us. It actually has some good talking points. Some of the like police discussion I thought was interesting because I feel like that's more of a 2020 sort of thing, but it came out 2019. So maybe I just wasn't well hip to the political discussion in 2019. But overall, I thought it was pretty good. I forgot to mention, this is written, and the art and writing is done by Sean Murphy, and Matt Hollingsworth is the colorist. So forgot to mention that earlier, but there you have it. But yeah, overall, again, this is a good book. I would recommend it. If you're a Batman fan and you want something new, check it out. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next review. Peace.